We are going to talk about a movie.
This is gonna be a disaster.
It was one of the best movies of the year.
It's gonna go so well. Probably one of the last movies I would ever want to see in a theater. What is going on, everybody? Taylor here.
And Jacob?
And today we are going to be talking about The Report.
Yes.
So this movie was an interesting one for me. I have been looking forward to The Report for a while, ever since I had been reading about it, heard it was coming out. I was really excited, thought the trailer was really good that I watched. And I think it was a good movie. I don't think it was an amazing movie.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this film all year. I heard really good things at Sundance.
Yeah.
I've heard that Adam Driver's performance was amazing. A lot of things about this movie. It was on as my most anticipated list of the year. I was really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a good film. There is a lot about this film that I love. There is also a lot that I don't love.
Right. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie is very elevated by the performances.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Annette Bening is amazing.
She is absolutely incredible and very well worthy of an Oscar, at least nomination, I think.
I agree. And I think Adam Driver does an amazing job, but it's very understated.
Yeah, this is a very, very understated performance. It's an incredible performance,
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I think he is absolutely incredible in this film, but it's not showy at all. It is very, very muted. He's a character that feels very withdrawn. And intentionally so, but it's not a performance that you see the Oscars very
They don't
celebrate.
usually reward that kind of performance.
My closest, I guess, allegory for people to base it off would be Ryan Gosling last year in First Man.
Yeah,
It's
I agree.
very subdued, he doesn't get emotional except for one or two scenes, and I think he is incredible in it, and I think it works incredibly well with the script and the story. It's not one that you're going to walk out going, oh my god, Adam Driver stole that movie.
Right.
To me, Annette Bening steals this movie.
I think she does too. I would agree with that. I think that the story itself is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of story in general is interesting for me when you see stories about what happens in not even just the American government, but governments who are clearly doing things that people would not approve of and doing all these things most people wouldn't even ever know about. And it's a compelling story. I just don't know if I liked the way it was presented.
Yeah, I think I don't think Scott Burns quite directed it as well as someone else might have.
Yeah.
I think that there is some directing issues in this film. The way the story is told, there is use of flashbacks, and I think the flashbacks, on the one hand, I get why they're there, and they do provide some of the most shocking and some of the most just complete audacity moments of the film where you're sitting there going, how?
It definitely takes all of the horrible, horrific things you're hearing about and translates them for you.
And so I understand why why the flashbacks are in the movie. I just at the same time kind of feel like
it got overused.
They didn't need to be in there. Like my best example, I guess, would be, imagine if in Spotlight, every time they discovered something, we got a 10-minute sequence where you saw the priests do what they just discovered. Right. And to me, that's how it felt, where every time we would get the investigative journalism would actually start to get a little bit deeper and a bit more interesting, it would pull back on it. And then, hey, we're back in the flashbacks. I think the second half of this movie is a lot stronger than the first half, because they kind of stop the flashbacks at one point.
Because after about the midpoint, you don't need the flashbacks anymore, because you're more talking about closer to the present of the story. Like, you're talking about things that are actually happening like after the investigation has started. We're not talking about the war crimes or anything anymore in terms of, oh, let's show you
what
all
they
these
did.
things we're investigating. It was more trying to persecute more towards the end of like, all right, now how are we actually going to fix this? Which brings me to something that I really liked about the film is they didn't pull any punches either way politically.
No, and
they went after everyone.
Yeah, and I do respect the film a lot for doing that. That as much as this film could have easily gone, this is Bush, this was Bush, this was Bush, they actually went, yeah, it was Bush's mess, but the Obama administration didn't clean it up.
They didn't want to clean it up.
They wanted to wash their hands of it and go, not us. So, and I liked the fact that the film very much played in that grey area.
Right.
It was, no, this isn't black and white in Bush bad, Obama good. It was, no, this is the grey area. And I really loved that it felt unique and refreshing to actually see a movie who was willing to there was grey in politics. There is real grey in politics that you actually need to talk about.
Right. And I think that was also the one thing I did like about the way the story was presented was based around that, where you have Adam Driver and you have Annette Bening in the middle, looking at all sides and being like,
who's actually putting their hands up?
No one's putting their hand up to actually fix this. Yeah. And both sides are just pointing fingers at whose fault it was that all of this happened, and no one's wanting to admit that the cover-up was actually a cover-up. They're all just pointing fingers at each other, saying, oh, it's them. It's them,
yeah. And I thought that was very... that is the strongest element of this film, is that the script is willing to go there. Right. Is that, hey, we are willing to actually point to say this is everyone. This isn't just the Bush administration or just the Obama administration or just Reagan or just anyone. It's no, this is everyone has come out bad in this. And I thought it was very refreshing that they were willing to go there.
I agree. So like I said, I would say it was a good movie. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as strong as I thought it was going to be going into it.
Yeah.
But, I would still recommend that people go see it. Definitely.
Yes. It is, for me, one of those films where I really liked it. Mm-hmm. I thought, I walked out going, I really liked that. I wanted to love this film. And maybe it's a overhyped thing for me. Like, I went in thinking this is going to be one of the best movies, because that trailer, like the story itself, like I'm a sucker for this type of movie. Like I love these type of movies.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I was really looking forward to this. I just think it didn't land some of the execution moments. I think it is a really, really good film, and I strongly recommend it for people.
Yes.
I just temper some of your expectations that this isn't one of the best movies of the year.
At least in our...
I don't think it's one of the best. I think it's just it is a good, solid film.
I think it is a solid film, and I think that... I think it's interesting because we just, as we are, have different perspectives going into it, because I grew up in it. Yeah. Like, I very much grew up in this country where all this was happening, and had, like, the politician from my state is in this movie. You see John McCain. Actual footage of John McCain in this movie. I lived 20 minutes from where his funeral was held. Like, to me, a lot of this is very personal. And it was interesting to me to watch it in an audience in a different country. Just because little factoids and things pop up on the screen, as happens in a lot of these movies. And it's interesting to me to get to experience an outside perspective with talking to the people we saw it with and things like that. But we want to hear your thoughts on this movie. If you've seen it, or if you're planning on seeing it, please let us know. All of our social media is in the description, as usual. If you want to see what we rated this on Letterboxd, our link is down there as well. If you want to see what we're checking out, what movies we've been rewatching instead of watching the new movies we need to watch. But we appreciate you guys so much. You're always so patient with our crazy, hectic uploading schedules.
Yeah.
And you're always there for us. With that being said, hopefully we'll have another upload for you soon, and we'll see you next time.
See yous.